Hello, this is Jeff Malone. The X is silent, here to talk about the November 23rd episode of Saturday Night Live, hosted by Josh Hutcherson with musical guest HAIM. Love HAIM. Love those ladies. They gave a couple of good performances. What I really want to talk about this episode is how much it showcased the new guys, some of the freshman cast members. It didn't provide a spotlight performance for all six of them, but it did for half of them. I had Mike O'Brien in the Winston Sam Bass investigative report pre-taped bit where and he was reporting on bugs, interviewing bugs around New York City, trying to figure out where they were going to. And I've been seeing, like, on some message boards, people saying how Mike O'Brien is just an unnatural performer, and I think the criticism has been a bit harsh. But, you know, regardless of how he's been thus far, that moment was great. It was a highlight of the season, not just his best work. So I'd be happy to see more of it. It's a character whose perspective I'd like to see on topics other than bugs as well. And then we had Beck Bennett really breaking out for the first time. He's been doing his duty in supporting roles here and there. He hasn't really broken out yet. You know, I've been expecting him to. I think several of us have, being familiar with his work on the AT&T commercials. And he played a Mr. Patterson, a perfectly intelligent man with the body of a baby. And he captured the physicality of a baby who's recently learned to walk quite perfectly. Overall, I didn't think the sketch was that great. I thought it was, it didn't go beyond that conceptualization of that mashup, a man, except insofar as his physicality, which was perfectly babyish. So I appreciated Beck's performance more than I laughed at the sketch. But as far as Beck himself is concerned, good on him. And Kyle Mooney once again had a great performance, worth noting. He is the early, far and away favorite for Rookie of the Year, which doesn't surprise me, being familiar with his online work, his video work on YouTube that predated his SNL time. And so he was showcased in a bit called Dancing, and Beck was also in that bit as well. A lot of great moments, a lot of great little bits, absurd sort of waxing and waning. I think I saw one reviewer online refer to it as, a lot of events happen in unlikely amount of time, in just the course of 3 minutes without ever leaving the room. Kyle goes from just some guy to the most popular dancer in the world to no longer being popular anymore and getting kicked out of his apartment. And then there were just all these great bits around it, like the Nightcrawler's dance crew being made up of just a motley, diverse mix of people, including a 60-ish-year-old woman who goes by the handle Professor Skills, or Beck throwing the videotape at the TV instead of sticking it in the VCR slot, and that somehow working to play the video. I had come across someone on a forum who had happened to attend the dress rehearsal for last show, the Lady Gaga episode, and mentioned that the dancing bit had been cut from that dress rehearsal. So I was happy to see it show up here a week later. And, you know, it's kind of reminded me of the early days of the digital shorts from the Lonely Island crew, from Andy Samberg and his friends, Jorma and Akiva. And, you know, before the digital shorts were huge, back in their first season, they would, I think some of them got cut from dress rehearsal before the audience in general really caught on to the Lonely Island sensibilities, and I think that's what's going on here with the Good Neighbor crew, which is the comedy troupe that consisted of, or consists, I guess they're still a thing. That was Kyle Mooney and Beck Bennett, and also their director Dave McCary, who was, I think he was hired as a director on SNL or a writer. Anyway, he's doing behind the scenes stuff. Then they've also got one other guy from their crew who wasn't hired on SNL. His name's Nick Rutherford. But anyway, so I guess the audience is being trained to get attuned to this new breed of digital shorts. A lot of reviewers are just referring to any pre-taped bit as a digital short, even though it was only the Lonely Island bits that were ever officially called that title. But anyway, I'm not going to complain about nominalism as long as it's all funny, or enough of it is funny. So pretty good, weird enough episode. SNL is going to take 1 week off for Thanksgiving, and then it's got quite a lineup for December. All repeat customers, starting off on the 7th with Paul Rudd hosting for the 3rd time, and One Direction hosting, or MGing, for the 2nd time. And